answers to lab questions for Chapter 7. There's not a whole lot from Chapter 7 we can do. Just like 6, all we're doing is learning how to use the table and not really focusing on anything else in that chapter. Chapter 7, same thing. Focus on what is the sampling distribution and how to calculate standard error, but a lot of what's in the chapter and therefore in the homework problems at the end really aren't relevant to what I'm really wanting you to get. So not a whole lot in this lab. Questions 5, A, B, C, and 17, A and B. And they're really just all about calculating standard error. So 5 says, a random sample is selected from a population with a standard deviation of 18. A, on average, how much difference should there be between a sample mean and the population mean for a random sample of 4 scores from this population? So notice embedded in there is basically the definition for standard error. How much difference should there be? How much difference should exist between the sample mean and the population mean due to just random chaos alone? So again, let's remind ourselves our formula for standard error. If we're using the standard deviation version of the formula, is simply standard deviation over the square root of the sample size. Well, the problem tells us standard deviation is 18, so A says sample size is 4. So that's 18 over the square root of 4. So the answer for 5A is 9. B, same thing, 18 over the square root now of 9. 18 over the square root of 9 is 6. And then C, we've changed the sample size to 36, so it's 18 over the square root of 36. So for C, our standard error of the sample mean equals 3. That's really all there was to it. This is the main thing you get out of 7. Knowing how to calculate that. If you've got that, then you really have Chapter 7 taken care of. The other problems in here are really just more of the same. 17, A and B. So 17 says, for a population mean of 72 and a standard deviation of 10, what is the standard error of the distribution of sample means, what's standard error, of the following sample sizes? So it's literally just doing the same thing again. Plug it into the formula, standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So for 17A, standard error equals 5. And for B, standard error equals 2. So it's really just the same problems all over again. It's just worded differently. So don't let that wording throw you. So again, for 6 and 7, they're pretty light chapters for us. 8's the doozy. What I mentioned in a previous video back around Chapter 6 was that if I could skip all of 6 and 7, I probably would, just because there isn't time to hit every little thing. But these pieces, the unit normal table and standard error, we have to be able to do those to get it Chapter 8 accomplished. So that's really all my expectations are for you. You don't need to know everything in those chapters, just those pieces I'm focusing on in the video lectures. Okay, well, keep practicing and get yourself ready for Chapter 8. That's a big chapter. There's a lot to learn in that one. So if you can get a head start into that, so much the better. All right, we'll see you then.